Alright, just making sure things look good. I'm just by myself today, but hey guys, this is LicoiousKid from Climaxcombo, bringing you guys a deck profile of my newly made Nisekoi deck. I made the deck last Wednesday, and this is the first build I have. Usually we do have a duel and then the deck profile, but last weekend Checkers was busy. It was his birthday, it was Labor Day, so family came, and when family's there, I gotta give him his time. So, but I really do want to put this up for you guys. I know a lot of people are looking for a Nisekoi deck, and I'm sure some of you guys are interested in Nisekoi. So, yeah, just thought I'd bring you guys my deck today. So yeah, this is my Nisekoi deck. It's red-blue. We'll have a duel for this probably this week, so I'll put a link to that in the description below when it does happen. But for right now, yeah, this is what I have. My new mat I got, just decided to use it for the day, because why not? And because I like it, it's nice. I like Zex. I think it's a cool game, but I think it's a cool game, and I really like the art for it. But yeah, done enough of the rambling. I'll just get right to it. Actually, no, before we start, I do have one proxy card in here. I really don't like proxying cards, but I had to make an exception for this deck because you really do need 4 of it. I'm going to show it to you right now. It is yeah, I do have one proxy in here. I really don't like doing that, but if I didn't proxy it, then I would have to show you guys this deck like in 2 weeks, and I'd rather just have one proxy card and show it to you guys now. So yeah, I'll just get that out of the way, and this is the card. 4 of these Shitoges, they're a 0/0 Suicider. This is a proxy for this because I didn't pull 4 and I don't have any time to go to store, so I have to buy it online. But yeah, start things off. 4 of these Shitoges, 0/0 Suicider, 1500 are what this card does is a level 0 Suicider, but at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, if this card at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you can move this card to the middle of the front row. This card is really good. Yeah, this card is just really good. Make your opponent commit 2 cards to killing this, and you could just run and take a direct hit in at least. If they play 2 characters, you lose the Shitoge, but you take more damage, allowing you to hit level 1 faster than your opponent, which is relatively a good thing. And if they don't, then you just run and then kill it with something else, or kill it with this again next turn. Either way, at level 0, this card is usually a win-win situation. Yeah. And like cards that get +1 levels, sometimes they have to be alone, or cards that can be reversed by opponent's card effects. Most of them, I should say, have to require them to be alone on the stage. But if they're alone on the stage, they can't play 2 characters to kill the Shitoge. So yeah, this card been working out very well for me, and I really do enjoy this card. But yeah, like I said, this is the only proxy in the deck. Sorry guys, I really don't like doing this myself, but better now than 2 weeks later, right? Up next is 4 of these Brainstorms, 0/0 Marika, 2K. This card, when this card attacks, you can give a key character. I think it's a key character. Yeah. When this card attacks, you can give another key character +1K until the end of the turn. And this card has another effect where you can pay 1, tap 2, mill top 4. For every climax you hit with this card, you get to search your deck for a key character and add it to your hand. Really good card. It's plus Brainstorm is always nice. If you have one, you might as well toss a couple in your deck. And this other optional effect of when it attacks, give another character +1K is also really nice. So it has 2 really good effects. And oh shit, sorry guys, I'm using my backup tripod since Checkers isn't here, so please excuse me. Okay, looking good. Next up, we have one of these PR Marikas. It's the booster box PR, so if you don't recognize it from the card list, it's probably why, because it's from the PR. I only pulled 1, unfortunately, but what this card is, it's a 0/0 1K. When this card is played from hand to stage, you can look at the top card of your deck and either leave it there or put it to the bottom of the deck. And it has a pay 1 bond for the Pendant of Promise event, which is these cards right here. These cards both have the same name. And I'll go into more detail what these cards exactly do at level 1, but very important card to the deck, and very important card in Nisekoi in general. So I'll go into more in depth of what the Pendant of Promise do at level 1, but do keep in mind that this does bond for the Pendant of Promise event. Next up, we have two of these 00 Onodetas, 1500. What this card does, its first effect is that if your opponent has 2 or less, or 3 or less characters in the on the stage, it gets plus 2k during their turn. So during their turn, if they have 3 or less characters, she's a 3/5. She's 3/5, which is not bad. And her other effect is when you have 2 or more Pendant of Promises in memory. Once again, this event right here, or these events right here. If you have 2 or more in memory, this card gains the effect of once played from hand to stage. If you have 2 or more pendants in memory, pay 1. If you do, search your deck for a key character, add it to your hand. Pretty good card. I like this card a lot. Lastly is this Chitoge. It's a PR. Now this card is pretty hard to get. It was a Blu-ray promotion card in Japan. So if you guys are looking through, if you guys don't recognize this card, I really don't blame you because this is a PR in Japan. It's not a booster box promo. You have to get this by buying the Blu-ray in Japan. I believe when you bought the Blu-ray, the store gave you one, like handed one to you. That's what I hear, and I hear some people saying that. No, I believe that's how they give it to you because even even when you buy the Blu-ray, you don't get one of these. But either way, it's a promo, and it's quite difficult to get. Right now, they're valued at $45 each, but I see people buying a playset online for about $200 to $300, around $200. So. Card is very expensive, but I'll get right to it. It's a 00 500. What it does is 500 in front, and when you play a climax, you can give one of your characters plus 1k until the end of the turn. It's exactly like the Asuna assist in SAO, the 00 Asuna assist. However, this card is a billion times more expensive than that card, unfortunately. But most of you guys probably don't have this card. I'll tell you guys some alternatives to this card when I get to alternatives later. But yeah. But that is all my level zeros. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Right? 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 level zeros. Level zero is pretty weak, to be honest, but I'll get to it when I explain the deck later. Next up, level 1 is 4 of these Tachibanas. This card is 105k. It combos with the gate right here. Oh yeah. Combos with the gate right here. So what this card does is, when this card reverses a character, and you have the gate out in play, you can salvage a character from your waiting room and add it to your hand. Pretty solid card. The stats are nice. It's a 105k. Can't really complain with a pretty solid gate combo. So yeah, in general, this Tachibana is really good, and I run 4 of these. Next up, this is 10 Tachibana 3/5. What this card does is, when it's played from hand to stage, you can reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a key character, you can add it to you must add it to your hand, and then discard a card from your hand. Pretty solid card. And what else it does is it has Recollection, which is if you have a Pendant of Promise in memory, if you have a Pendant of Promise in memory, this card gains the effect of when this card is reversed in battle, and the battling opponent is level 1 or lower, reverse that character as well. So essentially, it's level 1 Suicider if you have a Pendant of Promise in memory. Next up, 4 of these Onodetas, 104k. What this card does is, this card gets 500 for every key or sports character on the field, which is, the entire deck is key. So it gets 500 per character, essentially, and it has Clock Encore. So essentially, with a full field, before it says it's a 106k with Clock Encore, which is solid for no cost. Next up, I just run one of these Anti-Change 1025. It's a 1k backup. However, when you use this backup, you can pay an additional 3. If you do, choose an opponent's character on their side. Choose an opponent's character that is higher than the opponent's level, and send that card to the waiting room. So it's essentially it's Anti-Change. It's Anti-Change. It's used to kill cards like at level. It's used to kill change. I'm sure you guys know what that is by now, so I'm not gonna explain. But Anti-Change, solid card. And lastly, the Pendant of Promise events themselves. There's 2 different versions because Nisekoi is, the set itself is quite dependent on this event. And there are 4 different Pendant of Promises, 1 for each color, 1 for yellow, blue, red, green. However, this being a red-blue build, I do only run the red-blue Pendants of Promise. So what they do is, this one is a 113k backup. So, and when you use this, or this card is, is a 3k backup. And when you use this card, it sends itself to memory. So that's how you get this card to memory in the first place. And this other Pendant of Promise is a 1/1 event. When you use this event, you rest 2 of your stand. You put 2 characters in stand to rest, if you do, salvage 2 characters from your waiting room, add it to your hand, and then discard a card, and then send this card into memory. Both of them have the same name, Pendant of Promise, so you can't run like 3 of this and 2 of this because that's breaking the rule. You can only have 4 of one card, so you can only have 4 of them, and but you can run different variations. So yeah, I decided to run 2 backups and 2 1/1 events, and it's working out quite nicely for me. And that is all my level 1. That's 4, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. A lot of level 1s because the Pendant of Promises really do add to your level 1 count. But that is not a problem because I will show you why in just a second. Level 2 is only 3 measly cards. It's first one is this Onodetta. This card's really good. It's a 2/1/7K. What this card does is when it's played from hand to stage, and you have 5 or less cards in your deck, get your waiting room and your deck, shuffle them together, and then you get a new deck. It's essentially a free refresh, like what Madoka has. However, when you use this effect, you get to draw a card. I didn't explain that quite nicely. Let me redo that. Sorry, guys. So if you have 5 or less cards in your deck, when this card is played from hand to stage, and you have 5 or less cards in your deck, put your waiting room and your deck back together, and you get a new deck, and then draw a card. So you take no refresh damage, and you get to draw a card. Overall, very solid. And its other effect is you can tap 2 characters and give another character plus 2k until the end of the turn. Don't really use that effect too often, to be honest. However, it's nice that it has it, because it does come into play every now and then. But overall, it's mainly used with a free refresh, and it's very good. Next up is this level assist 2/1/4/5. It's a level assist in front, and its other effect is when it's played from hand to stage, you can put the top card of your deck to clock. If you do, salvage a key character from your waiting room, add it to your hand. It's honestly just a level assist. However, its second effect is nice. If I get it off early level 2, I will probably clock myself to gain more hand advantage. However, late level 2 and especially at level 3, I really don't use this salvaging ability. However, it is still there for you, and I do use it every now and then. So overall, it's a good card. And lastly, it's this 2/1 Chitoge 2/5. What this card does is you pay 1 2/5 backup. However, it's weaker than normal backup because it's also another anti-change event or anti-change backup. So when you use this backup, you can pay an additional 2 and send one of your characters on the field to the waiting room. If you do, choose an opponent's character that's higher than their own level and send it to the waiting room. Yeah, it's kind of just a filler card. I really don't know if I'm going to keep this around because I already have the level 1 backup. However, seeing as, I don't know, I kind of like it. It's pretty nice. I like having 2 anti-change backups, one for level 1, one for level 2. And honestly, it's a salvageable 2/5 backup. So in general, still kind of testing this card out. I don't know if I'm really going to keep it in. However, it's been working out for me, but it's just a filler card, but it has been working out for me decently well. But that is all my level 2s. Very low number because of the level 3s, which I will get to right now. So the reason why I run so low level 2s is because of this Onodetta. It's a 3/2/9/5. What this card does is if you have 2 Pendants of Promises in memory, this card gains -1 level. So you can play this as early as level 2, so that's why my level 2 count's so weak, or so low, because I concentrate on this. So yeah, it can come out at level 2 if you have 2 Pendants of Promises in memory. Also, when it's, if you have 2 or more key characters, this card gains +1k, it's essentially 10/5 base all the time. And its last effect is when it's played from hand to stage, switch your deck out for a key character and add it to your hand. In general, this card is really solid. 10/5 base plus its U in hand size, and it can come out at level 2. Nothing bad about this card. It's very solid card. Next up is this 3/2 Tachibana, very exciting card. The reason why this deck is so fun in my opinion. But anyways, what this Tachibana does is 3/2 10k. It also has Recollection. If you have 2 Pendants of Promises in memory, this card gains the effect of every time this card attacks, your opponent takes 1 damage, and this damage can be cancelled. And its other effect is when this card reverses its opponent in battle, you can pay 2, discard 3 cards. If you do, put this character back to stand. So, yeah, this card is pretty nuts. Attack, burn 1. And when you reverse an opponent's character, you can pay 2, discard 3, put it back to stand. And when it goes back to stand, when it attacks again, they take another 1 damage on top of its other attack. really good game ender, and it's just what makes Nisekoi very scary, and yeah, kind of, yeah, very powerful card. You know, some people might, or you know, they have to kill Tachibana because they can't, you know, ram in. They can't just leave an open field trying to stop the double attack, because if you leave her out, if you let her survive, she's just gonna attack and deal another 1 damage to you. So you know, Tachibana, very fun card. Its second effect is very cost heavy, because if it wasn't, this card would be really broken. So usually I haven't got its double attack off twice in one game, but I have gotten it off. The double attack I usually do at least once per game. I usually get it off at least once consistently enough, but I haven't got it off twice per game yet, because discarding 6 cards is just far too much. And lastly is this Tachibana right here, 3/2 10k. This card is very questionable. I'm just kind of testing it out right now, but well, here it is. So 3/2 10k. What this card does is when it comes from hand to stage, you get to heal. And its other effect is it combos with the pants. Yes, I run the almighty pants. When it attacks with the pants, you get to draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards, and this card gains -1 level in, or -1 soul in front until the end of your opponent's next turn. This card honestly is not that great. I don't really combo too often with it, but yeah, the combo's honestly not that great. You don't plus. All you really do is get a nice hand filter and the -1 soul in front, which doesn't help too often, to be honest. You know, usually, sometimes it works against me, but still, I'll explain why I'm running this card, which right now. So that's my level 3. That's 3, 6, 7, 8 level 3s. And lastly is the Climax lineup. I run 4 gates because, you know, I run the level 1. I run 4 of the Tachibanas, level 1s, and that card is really good. So 4 gates. And I honestly didn't know what to do with the other 4 Climaxes. I was considering 2K1s. I was honestly just considering 2K1s. However, I didn't like any of the other 2K1 combos for red and for blue. Because, yeah, I didn't like any of the 2K1 combos. So, you know, I decided to run pants because I still needed a healer. Yes, I could run the Chitoge healer. However, I only own 1. And I'd rather not proxy. So, and I already own 2 of these. But still, I needed another Climax. And I didn't want to run 2K1s because I didn't really like any of the Climax combos. And, you know, I needed a healer, so why not run the Tachibana with the pants? And the pants can grab the gate, and every time you play a gate, you usually get to plus. So that was my thought process. Pretty much run the pants to plus, and for the whatever pretty crappy Climax combo, and to grab the gate constantly, so I can constantly just spam the gate to plus with the 1-0 Tachibanas. So that was the idea. Works out okay, to be honest. Not that great. The pants probably going to be taken out, but that is what I am currently running right now. But yeah, that is my entire deck list, and I'll go over how I play this deck level by level really quickly. Let me just organize things really quick. So the level 0 for the deck is honestly pretty weak. I don't really run any big beat sticks because I feel like Nisekoi's level 0 is pretty weak. That's not yellow, and I'm not planning to run yellow, so that's why it's just red-blue, and the red-blue level 0s are honestly pretty weak. So the only thing you're really going to kill stuff with is his Suicider. The Suicider is really good. However, you know, it's not going to really stay here and pressure the opponent. It's just really here just to annoy them. You definitely want to get one of the assist out. The assist is quite key to the deck, so you do want to get it out. Your back row, usually something like this at level 0, or you know, having the brainstorm in the back row all day, it also works out pretty well. But I do run 4 of it, so I usually just leave the brainstorm in front. But usually, level 0, just try to survive. You know, the Onodera is also nice. It acts as a 3/5 wall during your opponent's turn, but during your turn, it's fairly weak and it's still susceptible to Suicider. So, if it lives 1 turn, that's already pretty good. You know, I think if Onodera lives 1 turn, I think that's great. But I really don't expect her to live more than 1 turn because even during your opponent's turn, she's only 3/5, which is not that powerful. Even with this, she's only 4/5, which, you know, cards can get over at level 0. But still, you know, sometimes it works out. Sometimes she gets to live for a turn or 2. and it's nice. But, you know, Onodera is kind of your other quote-unquote pseudo beat stick, but on offense it's very weak. But, yeah. Level 0 is mainly just utility cards, you know, with the Tachibana, and with the 0 Chitoge, the Onodera, and the Suicider. So that's it for level 0. Honestly, just try to survive and try to, you know, set up your hand for level 1. Level 1 is when the fun starts. Usually you want to get, you know, a couple Tachibanas out and play the Gate. The Gate combo is really good because, you know, you get to push for soul damage, and pushing for soul damage with Nisekoi is honestly a pretty big deal. But play the Gate, you get to plus, or you get to break even if you have one. But if you have multiple, then you start getting to plus. And the reason why the PR Chitoge is really good is because of the synergy it has with the 1-0 Tachibana. Because when you play the Gate, you know, they already get the 1k. However, it's just like the Asuna from SAO. When you play a Climax, you have to give another character plus 1k until the end of the turn. Usually you want to pump up these Tachibanas so you can get them to really high numbers. That way your opponent can't back up, and ensuring that you do successfully salvage. Because even if you have like just one Tachibana, if you have both of these, she's 5-5, Gate, 6-5, 7-5, 8-5. Can kill most level 1s, and yeah, still pretty good. Not the highest of numbers, but works out quite nicely, if I do say so myself. So level 1, you know, try to get a couple Tachibanas off, if possible. And of course, try to get Pendants of Promises into memory. Trying to, the goal is to get 2 Pendants of Promises into memory by level 2. That way you can play the level 3 Onodera when you do hit level 2. But like I said, I chose to run 2 and 2 because the 3k backup is nice. Because they hit, 3k backup is good. Usually it kills most things. And the 1-1 salvage event, the utility of the 1-1 salvage event is nice. Attacking 2 does hurt sometimes, or it hurts a lot of the time, I should say. However, still a really solid card. So, yeah. Try to, like I said, at level 2, try to get 2 Pendants of Promises in memory. I usually don't like playing the blue pendant on my turn, just to pump something to ensure a kill. However, sometimes you do have to because your opponent is smart. They sometimes they side, or their numbers are just too big where the backup doesn't matter, or they just run level 1 Suiciders and there's no point backing up against those. But still, yeah, they can play around the blue Pendant of Promise, and sometimes the tap 2 for the red Pendant of Promise hurts, but still, it works out usually. But try to get 2 out to memory ASAP. And once you do at least get 1 Pendant of Promise in memory, this becomes a level 1 Suicider, which is really good with the optional top check ability and the hand filter. So yeah, solid card. And lastly is the 1-0 Onodera. She, you know, with a full field, she's 106k with Clock Encore, which is very solid in its own right. So usually this card will stick around into level 3. Usually. And that's it for level 1. And also you do have the anti-change in case your opponent is an asshole and runs level 1 to 2 changes like Rewrite or Vivid Red, so you can anti-change against them and then, you know, have a good time. But that is how I play level 1. You just try to get a couple Tachibana combos off with the Chitoges. You know, try to get a Pendant of Promise in memory so that you can get this going, because without the Pendant of Promise is just a really crappy level 1 hand filter. And of course, this Onodera is just a really solid card in general. And yeah, that's it for level 1. On to level 2. Level 2, you of course want to get the level 3 Onodera out, if possible, because that way she starts putting on the pressure, because she is a 10-5 beat stick that stacks for 2 soul, and on play she pluses you in hand size, which is just generally really good. Also, if possible, all game, you do want to get out the level 2 Onodera free refresh, because you don't take refresh damage, which is a really big deal. And you get to draw a card, which is also a very big deal. It's really good that the Onodera only needs 2 Pendant of Promise in memory, because if you have 5 or less cards in deck, usually you play this first, shuffle your deck, draw a card, and then play this. That way, you know, you can search anything you want in your deck. And yeah, it's not like Madoka, where the change is dependent in the waiting room. This can just come out if you have 2 Pendants of Promises in memory. So these two work out really nicely together. I know that seems fairly obvious, but still, for newer players, I would like to point that out, that these two, you know, synergize quite well with each other. And of course, try to move one of these up, and then try to get the level assist out and rocking. So that way you can, just put more pressure on your opponent. And if you're low on hand size, which doesn't usually happen, honestly, the deck has pretty decent ways of plussing with this, and level 0 Bonder for the Pendant of Promise. Usually, and with the 8 gates and the 8 pants, usually I don't run low on hand size. However, sometimes it does happen, and the level assist is here for you. And once again, if your opponent runs a 2 to 3 change, you can even run this, or hell, this still even works on a 2 to 3 change. So, in general, if your opponent's running a change, you can just run these, or you can just slap these at their face, and then they die, and your Onodeta is out and killing them. Anti-change doesn't really hurt with the Onodeta, because the Onodeta can even grab another Onodeta. So if I have a lot of stock, which usually happens because my level 1 game is completely costless, that's not the Pendant of Promise, you can just even grab another Onodeta, and if this Onodeta happens to die, lol, another Onodeta. But still, just something to keep in mind. She can't search herself, so if you're winning really hard, you can grab 3 Onodetas and, make your opponent cry. But, yeah. What I usually grab with the level 3 Onodeta is this card, the level 3 Tachibana, which I will get to right now. So, level 3, or level 2 is honestly just a continuation of level 1. However, now you have the level 2 Onodeta rocking, or the level 3 Onodeta rocking, I should say. And usually, since you have 2 Pendants of Promises in memory now this becomes a pay 1 search your deck for a character added to your hand, which is really good. It's a pay 1 plus, pay 1 plus, so that's why this deck doesn't really run low on hand size, because this card also helps too. I almost forgot to mention this, but this card is also really good. I like this card a lot. And lastly, on to level 3. Usually, I'm winning in the damage race most of the time, because I'm spamming climaxes in the form of this, or sometimes, even the pants, just because, it gives extra power, and I can spam gates because I have the 1-0 Tachibana, which allows me to break even and or plus when I do play a gate. And at level 2, I'm usually smacking for a 2 soul with the level 3 Onodeta. So if you're winning in the damage race, you can even play the Onodeta, grab some Tachibanas, and then play them at level 3, and then your opponent will start crying for reals, because they are dealing 1 damage on attack, which is very scary. So, and if you do kill something, of course, you can pay 2, discard 3, double attack, and try to finish the game from there. If you're not going to win the game, I usually don't like double attacking if it's not going to win me the game, because if it fails, then it really puts me far behind. But still, do keep in mind that double attack is very clutch, and it's very scary. And lastly, I only run the 2 heals, just because I wanted to run heal of some form still. Where is she? There you are. And I still run the 2 heals just because it heals. And I didn't really know what to run with the other climax, so I decided to run pants. And because I run the pants, I decided to run some of these Tachibanas. Probably gonna go out, but it's what I'm running right now. It works out okay, but I think it can be better, so that's why it's gonna go out, probably. But yeah, that's how I play the deck level by level. Just try to gain a lot of stock, try to gain a lot of advantage with the Tachibana combo, try to push for a lot of damage, try to get 2 pendants in memory, play the level 3 Onodeta, and then play a couple level 3 Tachibanas, and try to end your opponent really fast. And that is how I play the deck, level by level. And lastly, some alternatives, which is quite a lot of alternatives. There are a lot of good cards in Nisekoi, so I'm not going to show, okay, I think 30-minute passed. But anyways, like I said, it's a new set, so feel free to experiment. This is just a couple alternatives that I have for you right now. First off, if you don't have the PR Chitoges, right here, because they're just really expensive and hard to get right now, you don't need this card. It's good, but the deck can run just fine without this. And what you can run is a 0-0 Daku. It's a 0-0-15, 500 for all key characters, so pretty much a 500 global. And when this card is played from hand to stage, you can discard a card. If you do, grab a Pendant of Promise in your waiting room and add it to your hand. This card is just really solid. Even if you do own these Chitoges, you should consider this Raku, because this Raku is just really good in general. Really keeps the deck consistent, and is a really nice hand filter, and is a really nice 500 global, so this Raku is just really good. You can of course run the Rudy Bond combo. I already run 4 of these Onodetas, But like I said, I always feel like I have enough hand size with the deck, and I have a decent amount of salvage with the deck. And since I run 4, I usually draw into 1 or 2 of these anyways. But still, the Rudy bond is quite nice. So what this bond does is it's 00500. It's a pay 1 bond for this Onodera right here. And what this other effect is you can put it to rest. And if you do, give Kosaki, which is Onodera, plus 500 power until the end of the turn. Not that great, but it's still there for you. But still, this bond combo is still pretty good and still considered worth running. Next up is this Onodera. It's a 002K. I haven't tried this card out yet, but it seems pretty good. It's a 2K. So if you have no characters on your field, it gets plus 2K. So it's essentially 4K. And its other effect is pay 1. You can draw a card, then discard a card. Why I chose not to run this card is because I feel like I already have enough hand filter in the deck. Because I already run the 1/1 event, which allows me to discard a card, and I already run this card, which is check top and then leave, and then this card, both of these cards hand filter. And I run 2 of these, and I run 3 of these, so that's 5 cards that allow me to hand filter anyway. So it's pretty easy to get climaxes that are stuck in my hand back to the waiting room just because of these 2 cards alone. But so yeah, that's why I didn't feel like I needed the pay 1, draw a card, discard a card, and this card alone as a 4K beat stick, just wasn't really feeling it. I haven't tried this card out myself, but I felt like this card is more like a hand filter with a 4K effect, or 4K, effect. But still, you can try this card out. It seems good. I'll probably try it out later, but as of right now, I just didn't feel like trying it because I just had enough hand filter in the deck, and I just wanted more utility in my level 0, to be honest. Of course, where'd it go? Tachibana. Probably the better replacement for this card is this 3/2 Chitoge 10K. What this card does is it heals on play, and what else it does is that you can pay 1, tap 2. If you do, this card gains plus 2K, and the following effect until the end of the turn, where when this card reverses its opponent's character in battle, you can put that card to the top of the opponent's deck. So anti-encore, top deck, and pseudo game ender, and it heals. And this card synergizes well with the level 3 Marika because you put a character on top of the opponent's library, and then you can attack with the 3/2 Tachibana, and it deals 1 on attack. And the 1 on attack is a guaranteed character because if you successfully reverse with Chitoge on top of the deck, and you get to deal a guaranteed 1 damage, which is quite nice. And so yeah, these 2 cards work very well together. I only own 1 of these. I want to play a set of these, and I'm gonna get those eventually, but still, just because of the pans, I opted for the Marika. Probably going to take this out once I get more Chitoges. But, yeah. Chitoge, very good healer, and you should definitely consider it to your deck. And the only Climaxcombo that I was considering for 2K1 was this Onodera right here. It's like Time Machine Miku, or it's exactly like Time Machine Miku, but it's blue. So it's like Time Machine Onodera, I guess. But still, what this card does, if you guys don't know what Time Machine Miku does, is you play the 2K1. When this card attacks, or during the beginning of your Encore phase, if you have this card in your Climax zone, you can send this card into memory. And then at the beginning of your draw phase, you can put this card into any slot on the stage, and this card will gain plus 3/5 power until the end of the turn. So this card is just really good in general. Time Machine Miku is a good card because if you guys don't understand why this is really cool, because you get to play the Onodera, you 2K1 her or something else. You attack. If this card becomes reversed, her effect still goes off, and you can send her to the memory, and then she'll come back next turn as a 8/5 beater. So you get 2 guaranteed attacks with 1 card, and you still break even because the 2K1 itself draws you a card. So you break even. You apply a lot of pressure on your opponent because the 2K1 itself, if you 2K1 this and you attack, if your opponent backs up, it's not that good because even if it's in reverse, it'll go to memory and then it'll come back next turn. And so they kind of wasted their backup for nothing. They wasted their backup just to save their own character and not kill your character, if you guys know what I mean. So in general, card puts your opponent in a tight situation, and this does stack. If you have multiple of these Onoderas and you play the 2K1, they all go to memory and they all come back and they're all 8/5 during your turn, which is a really big number. And if you have another 2K1, rinse and repeat and then make your opponent cry. However, why I chose not to run this is because as good as it sounds, it can be inconsistent because if you have a lot of climaxes in your waiting room and you have the combo, it goes to memory. So that, and then when that happens, you have an open slot, which means your opponent's going to be smacking you for 2 soul. And if you have a lot of climaxes in your hand and or waiting room, then you're probably going to get fucked up and get soul rushed. And I also run the backup. If I run too many of these, wait up. I don't know if you guys heard that, but that's my sister. But anyways, also because I run the one event backup, and these are in memory, I don't have anything to back up, and then it just becomes kind of awkward. And, I really do want to use this as a backup. I really don't like using this on my own turn, because if you're using it like that, why not just run the green one, right? Right? That's why. I'd rather have characters on the field so I can play this backup, not have no characters, and I can't back up, because that way it becomes that much harder to get 2 pendants in memory till level 3. But still a good card. I haven't tried it out myself, but you guys can try it out and, tell me how it goes. And the last consideration I'm making to this deck is adding yellow into the deck, because I already run for the PRs, and that's already pretty good for color count. And, the level 0s in yellow are fairly solid. They're a lot better, and they will make my level 0 game a bit better. What this card does is if you have 2 or less stock, it gains plus 15, so it's 004k. And what this card does is if you have 1 or less characters on the field, it's plus 1k and hand encore. So, these are definitely a lot better level 0 cards than what I currently run, and it would be quite nice having these. Also, because of the 1/1 yellow event. At first, I was like, why would I ever run the yellow event? Because why not just run the red and the blue one? Because they're so good, right? After playing with it for a while, I've started to realize that it's all not that good. Because, like I said, if your opponent plays around the backup, it sucks. And this card, why it's not so good either, is because you have to tap 2 characters to activate it. It might not sound like a big deal, but it kind of is, because if you brainstorm, you can't use the effect. And I usually brainstorm every turn. Like every turn, if not every other turn. And sometimes when I'm spamming the brainstorm, I can't use this, and then this card just becomes really dead in my hand, and then it's just kind of stuck there. And it's just kind of, sometimes it's just hard getting the Pendants of Promises into memory just because I can't tap 2 characters, or my opponent is playing around this backup. And then at that point, it just becomes too difficult to get the Pendants in memory. And then once level 2 comes around, I don't have a level 2 game, and then a lot of my cards just really suck. My level 1 level assist doesn't, go active. My level 0 tutor, or my level 0 searcher, is not active, and then the deck just kind of crumbles if you don't have the Pendants of Promise into memory. And so why I like the yellow one is because it's good when you play during your turn, and it goes into memory. And yeah, just having an instant access of a pendant going to memory seems really good. I haven't tried it out myself yet, but I am really considering adding this in. And if I'm going to run this, I'm probably just going to run no heals, and just run 2 of these, 3 of the Marika, 3 of the Onodera as my level 3 game, and just go for a really fast kill them before they kill me build. And it's Chitoge, so, I'm always considering running yellow for this card. But, lol, that's just me rambling. But, yeah, yellow. If I'm going to run yellow, I'm probably going to splash a couple of these cards. And, hey, I might even run the 1-0-4-5, which I don't have here. But, just a consideration. You can add yellow to the deck, and I think it'll be just fine. But that is all I have to say. This deck profile is really long. I just realized a lot longer than our usual deck profiles because it's Nisekoi. I feel like there's a lot to say with the deck. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot to say with the deck, and since I'm just building it, I really want to explain why. And it's really new set. I really did want to explain why I'm running certain cards over other cards. But yeah, in general, I'm having a lot of fun with the deck. I think the deck is really good. Yeah, the deck is just really good. There's a lot of good ways to plus. The level 3 is just damn right scary just because of Tachibana alone. Onodera makes the level 2 game really annoying. And the gate combo is just fantastic. So, deck is very solid. I think red-blue is the core colors to go. And, yellow's questionable. But still, yeah, deck is new, or the set is fairly new. Feel free to experiment. This is not the only build out there. Try whatever you guys like, and there are a lot of other good cards in the set. So feel free to play around with a lot of cards. A lot of good cards I haven't shown you guys, but there are a lot of good cards in the set. So, you know, you guys want a strong standalone set that's fairly new, but that is new, look into Nisekoi. But yeah, that's all I have to say for this video, guys, and until next time.